Hello everybody, and welcome back to another conversation with me and my muse. It's not really so much of a conversation as it is me just blathering on, but you know how it works by now. Today I want to talk about something that's really... sometimes it's kind of hard to swallow. And I'll tell you why. Because ego. Ego can really be damaging to you as an artist. And let me tell you one very particular way that this can come to the surface for writers. Now don't worry, ego can affect every kind of artist out there, not just writers. But in particular, I have something to talk about. So, editors. Yeah, they are awesome. And I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic here. But sometimes, now, editors are usually your best friend. Okay, editors are always your best friend. But sometimes they will say something to you. They will make a comment in one of your books or make a change in one of your manuscripts that really rubs your ego the wrong way. Like really. Like makes you think, what the hell do they know? Well, they're your editor. And they know how to edit. They know how to make books better. That's their job. Okay? So first and foremost, you have to swallow that bitter pill. That your editor is there to make your book better. Now, here's the problem. If you're like me, when you submit a manuscript to an editor, you want it to be perfect. You want to have that one occasion that's never happened before in the history of publishing, that you send a book to your editor and the editor reads it and goes, nothing I can do. I cannot make this any better because it is perfect. That's what you want. And I tell you, every time that I send a book to an editor, I have gone through it and gone through it and gone through it. And I have thought I have found every possible problem and mistake that's in this manuscript. And that editor's not going to find anything. And lo and behold, they find a lot. She finds a lot because I'm working with one particular editor. Now, many moons ago, I would get that manuscript back with all that red, the metaphorical red markings. And I would go, oh, I'm such a failure. I can't do this. Who am I kidding? That was a long time ago. Now when I submit a manuscript to an editor, I expect there to be a whole bunch of red lines through that thing. Because the editor's got to do their job. And I also know that I'm not an editor. So, grammar is not my forte. Telling stories is my forte. My editor's forte is grammar and catching things that I miss. And on the rare occasion, the editor might have an opinion. Now, opinions are like elbows. Okay, not elbows, because not everybody has elbows. That's kind of not fair. And I just didn't want to say the other thing. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. There, I said it. To those people that don't have assholes, I apologize in advance. Or in retrospect. Anyway, every once in a while, my editor will have an opinion about something. When that happens, here's how it plays out. Editor will make an opinion about something, and my ego will go, no, nay. I am the writer of this book. I control everything. I know better than anybody. I am God. And then my brain and my heart kicks in. And they both gang up on my ego and say, you be gone. Because here's the thing, and this is the important lesson here. Your ego will get in the way of your book being as good as possible. And there have been occasions, even recently, when my editor has expressed an opinion about something in a manuscript, and my ego at first said, oh, no, 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 no. And then my heart and my brain said, she's got a point. What if we accept her opinion? And what if we work her opinion in? And then my brain and heart go, book is better. You see, it's really easy. It really, really is. The problem happens when your ego is so strong and you don't have the faculties to realize that it is getting in the way of not only you making your book as good as possible, but getting in the way of you having a solid relationship with your editor, which you must have. And if you allow your ego to get into the way, there will be problems. I have known writers whose egos were so great that they wound up hopping from editor to editor to editor to editor to editor, simply because they couldn't find an editor that would just come out and say, oh, your book's perfect. And then guess what? After a while, you run out of editors that are available, and your only hope is Grammarly. And let me tell you right here and right now, Grammarly is not an author's friend at all. Do not rely on Grammarly. It is a tool that can help you in certain circumstances, but it's also a tool that can hurt you in certain circumstances. It can make your book worse. Grammarly can strip out your author voice to make it all just a generic wash of words. If that's what you want, that's great. Then use it, fine. But even still, even with Grammarly, your book is not going to be perfect. It's going to be better if an actual person edits it. And in order to do that, you need to have a good relationship with your editor. And in order to do that, you need to kick your ego to the curb. Trust me. I have been an artist for decades. And I remember a long time ago, when I was young, when I had a big old fat flapping ego, and I let it get in my way, and it caused problems. And it eventually was beaten out of me. Not literally, but metaphorically beaten out of me. And now, yes, I have ego enough to do what I need to do. But my ego is not so big that my brain and my heart can't go, you know what, take a seat. Because that's what needs to happen. When your editor has a strong opinion about something, take it seriously. Now, interestingly enough, I've had an occasion where I've had beta readers not say a single thing about a particular thing in a work in progress, not a manuscript. And even one person said something positive about that thing in the manuscript. And then the editor said, this is not good. You need to consider changing this. And my ego goes, no, 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 no. And then my head and my heart goes, yes, 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 yes. Actually, my head said, let's go back to the beta readers. So I'd reach back out to the beta readers and say, did this bother you? And then one said, yeah, it did bother me. I just eventually got used to it. I'm like, I don't want my work to be an acquired taste, like coffee. I want readers to be able to immediately be drawn in and not have hurdles and things that trip them up. So in that case, my editor was spot on, as usual. And yes, there are certain things that when my editor has an opinion of, if they're not strong, and if I can objectively step back and go, you know, I think I'm going to keep it. I'll keep it. But I have to really be objective, and I have to really consider why the editor says what they said. That's important. Because remember, again, their job is to make your book better. It's not about their ego. It's just about the work. So, the lesson here is for you as an artist, no matter what medium you work in, learn how to set your ego aside and see the truth. Sometimes that truth is really hard to swallow. Sometimes it's not. But you need to be able to see it regardless. And in the end, when you're able to kind of brush that ego aside, you'll be a better artist for it. Trust me. Been doing this for a very long time. And that's not to say that I know everything. I don't. Trust me. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. Generally speaking, when you can say I'm still learning, you're probably doing something right. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I hope everybody's well. I hope you're safe. And I hope you're, doing what you do to bring you joy. Because right now, the world and everybody else needs as much joy as we can get. And I hope that maybe on some level I bring a little bit of that to you. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Be kind to artists. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everyone. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind. Remember that. And you will be awesome.